I stood at the front of the wedding hall. My glass raised, the room bathed in golden candlelight. My daughter Emily looked radiant in her ivory gown, her eyes shimmering as she gazed at her new husband. The air buzzed with laughter, the clinking of glasses, the warmth of family and friends gathered to celebrate. But my wife Claire sat stiffly at the head table, her fingers gripping the stem of like a lifeline glass. Something was wrong. Then she stood. I barely had time to lower before she cleared and said, voice ringing through before we go, there's something I need to confess. The laughter died. Forks scraped against before plates. Silence swallowed the room whole. Claire's eyes met mine, cold, distant, unreadable. James isn't Emily's real father. A collective gasp rippled through the guests. My breath caught. My heartbeat slammed against my ribs. Emily's smile froze, her hands clenching the bouquet. What? I tried to speak, but my throat had turned to sandpaper. My mind spiraled, grasping for explanations for some misunderstanding. Claire lifted her chin, her expression defiant. I've kept this secret for 25 years, but I can't live with it anymore. I felt the ground shift beneath me. The woman I had loved, trusted, shared a life with had betrayed me, and she had chosen this our daughter's wedding to tell me, to tell the world I had always prided myself on being a good father. From the moment Emily was born, I had held her tiny fingers, whispered promises to protect her, to love her unconditionally. I had been there for every school recital, every whispered Dad at bedtime. Now Claire's words had unraveled everything. The guests whispered, shifting in their seats. Emily's face was ashen, her lips trembling. Mom, what are you saying? Claire exhaled sharply. James isn't your biological father, Emily. Her voice softened as if that would lessen the blow. I had an affair, and my body moved before my mind did. The champagne flute slipped from my shattering fingers against the marble floor. A jagged gasp escaped the crowd. My hands balled into fists. Not here. Not now. I turned to Emily. Sweetheart, listen to me. But she had already stepped back, shaking her head, tears spilling down her cheeks. Is it true? She whispered. I couldn't answer. I had no answer. Claire's betrayal coiled inside me, twisting, like writhing, poisoning every memory we had built together. And then I saw him. At the back of the room near the exit, a man stood alone, his face half hidden in the shadows. But I recognized him instantly. Richard. Claire's ex-boyfriend. The room felt too small, the air too thick. My mind reeled back to decades. The early years of our marriage. Claire and Richard had a history, volatile past she had claimed to have left behind. But she hadn't, had she? A sharp laugh tore from my throat. I turned to Claire, my voice dangerously low. It's him, isn't it? Her silence was answer enough. A searing pain shot through my chest, not just from the betrayal, but from the realization that the life, I had given had been a lie. You knew this whole time, I said, and you let me raise her, love believe her. She was mine. Claire flinched. You are her father, James, in every way that matters, except the one that does, I spat. Emily sobbed, covering her mouth with shaking hands. Who is he? She choked out. Claire hesitated, then turned toward Richard. He stepped forward, and I saw at the resemblance. The sharp jawline, the piercing eyes. My stomach turned. I had been a fool. A blind, trusting fool. Emily's gaze darted between Claire then landed on Richard, me, filled with desperate confusion. Dad. I wanted to tell her it didn't change anything, that she was still my daughter, that I would always love her. But Claire had stolen that moment from me. She had ripped the truth from the shadows and let it bleed in front of everyone, and she thought she could walk away from it. I steadied my breathing. Rage was a dangerous thing. It could consume a man, turn him into something unrecognizable. But controlled rage, that was a weapon. I turned to the crowd, my voice eerily calm. Well, since we're sharing secrets tonight, Claire stiffened. James, sit down, Claire. I cut her off. You've had your turn. The guests watched in stunned silence. Emily wiped her tears, staring at me with desperate eyes. I locked my gaze on letting Claire. My next words sink in. I've known for a year. Claire's breath hitched. The color drained from her face. I smiled coldly. That's right, I found out last year. And since then, I've been preparing for this moment. Confusion flickered across her face before panic took hold. What are you talking about? I pulled a folded envelope from my placed pocket it on the table. Divorce papers signed. Effective immediately. The room erupted in shocked murmurs. Claire's hands trembled. James, please. I ignored her, turning to Emily. I don't care what the DNA says. You are my daughter, and I will always be your father. But I will not stay married to a woman 25 years and burned my life to the ground. Tears streamed down Emily's face. But a flicker of relief crossed her features. Claire reached for me, but I stepped back. This is the last thing you'll ever take from me. Enjoy the rest of the wedding. Then I turned and walked away, because sometimes the best revenge is leaving them with nothing.